Hello and welcome to Inside Tulsa Basketball with head men's basketball coach Eric Konkol. And this is a new show. And Coach, I thought the first thing we should do is just kind of take a look at this beautiful locker room you have here. You're very proud of this.
We are. And again, we're calling this Inside Tulsa Basketball. We want to bring everybody inside. And here's our locker room. This was renovated just a few years ago with the very generous contributions of so many different supporters. Many years ago when I was here, this was our locker room space, but it's been completely redesigned and updated in a very modern way that's wonderful for our players.
You know, and it says lounge. So, I mean, the guys can come in and lounge a little bit. And Coach, let's take a look at it. You know, they could even study here at these tables if they needed to, but obviously they can relax here, right?
It's great. So you can come in, there's table space if they need to get some work done. We'll bring some food in here after practice. And then this area right here, we've got remote controls on the wall that can operate all of these TVs to watch different types of shows or dim the lights, use these couches, use these different areas. Over here, we've got some recovery, basically pumps that they put on their legs and it will take all the lactic acid out. And so we got every little bell and whistle in here for guys to be able to recover, relax, and get ready for practice.
Yeah, and it's interactive, obviously, and the guys do spend a lot of time here, don't they? And they get to know each other better.
This is what that's all about. And you have a Unite Lounge where the guys want to be, we want to be united. But once they leave class, leave their apartment, come into the Reynolds Center from the weight room, the training room, the locker room, our offices, practice gym, main floor. This is where it all happens for them.
All right, let's go look in the locker room. You mentioned this used to be the old locker room, and now let's look at the new one now as we take a look at, again, inside Tulsa basketball. Before we get there, Coach, I'm interested in this. Now, this is, obviously you're so involved in analytics, so this is kind of part of that, isn't it?
It is. So we grade practice every single day. We also include games. And then over the course of an entire week, we will grade out the entire team and then award our Cane of the Week. And this past week it was Brian Salabange. He was number one here, but we evaluate not just scoring, but rebounding, assists, hockey assists, taking charges, just deflecting the ball, how often your team wins during the week. Of course, subtracting for turnovers and fouls. But again, and just a number of ways for guys to evaluate themselves against their peers and know where their standing is in different weeks and different days, because every day is important for us to get better.
And you get analytical. You're from Wisconsin, so obviously we have a hockey assist in there.
That's right.
But that's the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the basket, right?
Exactly right. And so we're trying to encourage really unselfish play. We're trying to encourage great spacing and then great understanding of, hey, I may have a good shot, but he has a great shot, and how we can continue to foster that type of environment.
All right, let's go and look in this beautiful locker room for the guys. I mean, anybody that's come in here for the first time, there's a wow effect here, isn't there? This is a great locker room.
It's really nice. It's wonderful for our guys. Of course, it's impressive for recruits that come in here. Many years ago, the entrance was down there at the end. This was the locker space, but of course reconfigured to come through this way. But change the lights, they get TV, we have the time remaining before the game clock up here, but everybody's got their own locker. And then just throughout, it's just very first class.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if you need a haircut, you even have a barber chair here, huh? How about that? Do you get it? Do you get your haircuts?
I have not had my hair cut in here yet, but our guys do. And again, it's convenience. We want them to be able to have a very efficient day. We ask a lot of our players from practice. They're spending a lot of extra time on the floor too. Of course, their academic load is strong. They've got a number of things to get done here. So if they can get a quick haircut right after practice before going to class, that's a good thing.
And generally there's a player who's the good hair cutter. You know, there's generally one guy that can do the fade or whatever. I don't know who that is yet. Maybe you don't know yet.
Well, I know Jackson Patton on our staff is really talented, is a guy who can cut hair. And it's funny, well, I used to be able to do it too. Cut Buzz Peterson's hair a couple times in this locker room way back in the day, but certainly not claiming that as a profession.
All right, now up on the mirror here, you have program philosophy, and you see that throughout this locker room, so tell us about what all this means.
We've put it in every locker room, we've put it in every stall. It's not in the shower because it'll get really wet in there, but There's three things that we absolutely expect. We want guys with great attitudes that are totally and unconditionally committed and do things in a first-class manner. And then this just lays it out. We as coaches feel like we always want expectations to be really, really high, and it's our job to communicate those things. So these are the things that we talk about, from attitude to be positive. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. To be an energy giver, we want to be an enthusiastic, high energy group. And this is ongoing. There's things that we've got to continue to work on how we battle adversity. Second, commitment, to make a total and unconditional commitment to our program and your own development, to be passionate about what you do. And that just means, Bruce, that no matter if you're starting or coming off the bench, you are working on becoming better, and everything you do is to improve our team and yourself. And then third class is to do things in a first-class manner. We're a part of a world-class institution here at the University of Tulsa. We represent our city, over 1 million people in this region, and we take a very serious responsibility in how we represent the entire 918 area code, and that's what that's all about.
All right, so first class, no question about it. This locker room is first class. One more thing we want to show everybody, and that is the theater area. It's an area where the guys spend a lot of time as well. All right, so now as we get to the film room, which is, we have the Star Trek doors, Coach, that open up here, and this is actually the entrance to the locker room. And you've said that this guy here in the middle is really physically imposing, but he doesn't move very well.
That's right. No, he's been in the weight room really well, but we got to get the plyometrics going. But this is some great history here. Of course, our jerseys that we wear, but you can see history and great images along the line there, Bruce, with just some of the highlighting the great teams here in our rich tradition.
Absolutely. Well, they've got to start moving their feet a little bit better, maybe to take a charge, right? So now we're going to head into the film room, and we still use the word film, don't we? Even though we know it's videotape, right?
That is habit right there.
Exactly. So this is another area that's really useful to you, Coach, as you are able to put images up on the screen. A lot of the guys before the game, they'll sit here and watch ball games, while they're getting ready, while they're relaxing and getting ready. But obviously there's another purpose.
We meet in here every day before practice. So whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes could be 45. We've had some long ones here lately too in our post-game meetings, but this is also right before the game, at halftime of games, right after the game. We use this room, have the timing clock up here that lets us know how much time before the game or time left in halftime. This wall behind the TV is a dry erase board, so we can draw things up here. But this is absolutely our classroom, and there's so many different ways to learn, and a big part of it is to see it visually on video.
And with video and video files, you can come in here at halftime and be able to show the guys what they did in the first half, right?
We can do a number of different things, and then it's just a matter of picking what's most important, because there's so many things that you may want to show. But we're very much, Alan Massey's our director of scouting. He's in charge of all of our video production and putting things up here and working with our coaches to provide the message necessary.
All right, a quick thumbnail on kind of the start of the season for the team. Some good and some bad.
We've been all over the place. We've had some wildly good moments. We've had some wildly bad moments. And that's where we're trying to really build that consistency and make those peaks and valleys a little bit shorter, smaller. But been encouraged by just the number of ways that our team has responded each day. They're working hard. We just got to keep getting better and better. And sometimes it just takes time, and that's what we're working on.
In the ORU game, high-level game, 3.5 minutes to go, you're down by 3. It's a heck of a back-and-forth battle. Unfortunately, they finished the game strongly, but I know you're working with your guys about being a better finishing team.
That's it, and we've been in that situation a couple times now. Sometimes we've been able to push ahead and get the victory, and then other times we've fallen just a little bit short. Again, give ORU credit for the way that they played. They made more plays than we did down the stretch, and I was proud of our team. Fell down by double digits, ended up getting ourselves back into the game with just a few minutes left. But we got to be better in those moments, to play with great poise and get certain plays executed correctly.
And I know during the course of this show we're going to talk about various players, but I think Bryant Selabunge is one guy that really has been consistent for you, perhaps your most consistent player, and he was 15 and 12 on Saturday.
Yeah, he's been great, and I think his future is so bright. Just as a sophomore eligibility-wise, and a guy who missed the entire summer. So you think about just the progress that he's made in a short period of time. We thought that he'd be able to come in and rebound, but the scoring has been a big plus, and he's found different ways. Was pleased with the way that he attacked or used big guy inside. We got to keep finding ways to get him the ball. He's earned that confidence, not just in himself, but his teammates, our coaching staff. We got to find more ways for him to score.
2 games at home this week coming up. Wednesday, Detroit Mercy, and they're a team that's really pretty good.
This is a big week for us. Not only with the 2 home games, we start final exams on Thursday, so a lot going on here in our program. Detroit's got a team that's very, very explosive. They're talented. Antoine Davis is one of the nation's leading scorers. Will go down in history as one of the all-time leading scorers in NCAA men's basketball. But then they got a number of guys that can put the ball in the hole. And so we've got to be able to score it. We've also got to be able to make it difficult as we can. They're going to take tough shots. They have the ability to make tough shots. We got to make them miss, and we got to rebound this ball.
So that's a 7 o'clock game Wednesday. I know that's the only one you're concerned with, but Saturday afternoon matinee again, a 2 o'clock game for your team at home on Saturday.
We've got another Michigan team. We've got Detroit on Wednesday, Central Michigan on Saturday. Not spent any time on them, as you said. I know our staff has done a good bit of preliminary work on them, but 2 really good teams, 2 very challenging conferences that they come from. We've got a very difficult schedule, Bruce. We're the number 4 rated team in the American Conference right now in strength of schedule, and it's going to continue with these 2 teams coming in this week.
Well, Coach, that's our first edition of Inside Tulsa Basketball with Eric Konkol. Good luck this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, that wraps it up for our first show. We will indeed join you next week.